Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It is I, Tony, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to another TTBurger top 10 list and stuff. And we all know Halloween is upon us once again, so with that being on the way, it's time for this year's Halloween special. And for those of you who missed last year's Halloween special, feel free to check it out. I'll actually put it in the put the link in the description box below and stuff. And in my last Halloween special, I reviewed my favorite Castlevania game, Castlevania Lament of Innocence, and shared my thoughts on that game and stuff, and just was explaining why I thought the game was the best Castlevania game and stuff. And feel free to check that out. The link is down below. But for this year, for Halloween of 2019, we're not going to be doing a game review or anything like that. I'm going to be bringing you all my 10 best PlayStation horror theme games, and these are all handpicked by me. We're going to go from 1 to 10, 1 being at the bottom and 10 being the top one and stuff. But we have a lot to talk about here, so let's get started with number 1, D. Now, I already mentioned D a little bit in my 10 best female protagonists in this video and stuff, how I mentioned about the main protagonist, Laura Harris and stuff, but I didn't really go into the game that much and stuff, and I'll explain the basics here and stuff without spoilers, without spoiling the game too much, but let me explain here. D is basically a first-person horror adventure game and stuff. It's not survival horror. It's basically an adventure game where you have to like find the right path, solve puzzles and stuff, and you have to beat the game in 2 hours, or else you die and stuff. You cannot save in this game because that's a challenge there. You must beat it within 2 hours, and save yourself and escape and stuff, and find your dad and stuff, or else the game is over. I mean, it's a great game. I mean, like, a lot of people didn't like it because of the controls being very slow and clunky and stuff, but this was an early PlayStation game, and of course it was on the PC and stuff too and stuff, but like, it's just this game was cutting edge for its time. I mean, like, it's just, you have a silent protagonist going around in some castle and stuff like that with traps and stuff and such, and trying to like run away from Dracula and stuff, and just basically what it is. It's basically an adventure horror game, and you must survive within 2 hours or else you lose and stuff. That's basically what it is. Number 2, Galarians. Now, how many of you remember Galarians? Yeah, a lot of people these days don't really know about Galarians. Like, Galarians it was Galarians and then Galarians Dash, but we're talking about Galarians because that was the better one, and that was like more based survival horror game. Galarians is kind of a futuristic survival horror game and stuff like that, where you play as Rion Steiner, who finds himself in Michelangelo Hospital and doesn't remember anything and doesn't know where his parents are or anything like that. Now, I should note here that there's a computer program in this game called Dorothy, who's pretty much the main antagonist there, but I'm not going to say why she is, and I don't mean to spoil it there, but Galarian pretty much plays like Resident Evil and stuff like that, Dark Horse stuff. Except for instead of using weapons, you have like powers that you inject in yourself and stuff. Like you have like this red flame ability and this green shot ability and stuff like that and stuff. It's just a lot of it's very futuristic sounding, and just it's actually pretty good here. I mean, I will admit the voice setting is not the greatest. I wish there was an option for the Japanese, but since with PlayStation, a lot of them didn't have that. But it is pretty cool to be going around in this hospital and Michelangelo City and then your house and other places too, to find out what's going on and find out some information about you, because you have amnesia, you don't know who you are. And it's basically like Rion Steiner is also a very one of my favorite male video game characters there too. Because like it's just he's just some helpless teenager just trying to find out what happened to him and stuff. And while his voice acting is not very good, it's still Galarian is definitely a great game, and definitely pick it up if you can find it, because it's not that easy to find these days. If you can find the game, then great, definitely find it. Number 3, Echo Knight. This game is very similar to D and stuff, but it's a little different here because it takes place on, most of the game takes place on this cruise ship that like pretty much vanished and stuff like that, and you're pretty much talking to the spirits of the crew members and stuff, that to find out what happened with the ship. You basically have to solve puzzles, hide from enemies, and like give a spirit this, give a spirit that, and stuff. It's basically you're roaming around the ship and stuff like that, and like you're trying to find out what happened and to the Orpheus. That's the name of the ship, the Orpheus. And there's no voice acting in the game, but still that makes it scary in a good way and stuff. Because when you're on that cruise ship, the Orpheus, and you don't know what's going on, you are going to be going to be on the edge of your seat and finding out what's going on, because Echo Knight stuff does it. Like it's another first-person horror adventure theme game, and it works well. But just be warned, like if you want to find it now, it's pricey these days. Start that, and there's also another game here too that's not on this list. It's similar. It's called Juggernaut. But like I haven't played Juggernaut, so that's why I didn't put it on the list. I don't own it, but if I ever do find it like that, maybe I'll talk about it in the future. But as of right now, you can just take what you can get. Number 4, Clock Tower. Now, Clock Tower is basically a point-and-click survival horror game where you pretty much spend time hiding and trying to find open doors while you trying to run away and survive while being chased by Scissor Man, who's pretty much this serial killer in Norway who pretty much kills his victims with a giant pair of scissors. And you can distract him by throwing something at him or something like that, and just running away and hiding. But you gotta be careful. If he catches you, you're dead. And so, yeah, it's like it's just that adds a challenge to it too. And like Clock Tower is definitely awesome, especially because you can pick your story here. You can play as either Jennifer or Helen, depending on what choices you make. And the choices you make affect the ending and how the story goes on and stuff like that. It's a very hard game to get the perfect endings like that, but once you do get it, you'll feel very accomplished. And that's why Clock Tower is on this list. Number 5, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is definitely the best 2D Castlevania game in my opinion. I mean, now I will admit that a lot of people do like this game. That's the favorite Castlevania game. This is definitely one of my favorite Castlevania games, but I meant it in a sense was better for me and stuff. But Castlevania Symphony of the Night, what a huge and fantastic Castlevania game this is. For the most part, you play as Alucard, the son of Dracula and stuff, and you basically like just have like it's basically like Castlevania meets Metroid and stuff, and you're going around Dracula's castle, solving puzzles, trying to find items and trying to find magical powers stuff that to help you and stuff. And it's a huge game. I mean, like this is why a lot of people love this game, because it's big and huge, and it's not really like scary like how it was with like the Meta and stuff like that, but still for its time, this was considered cutting edge. And those of you who owned a PlayStation, you had to get Castlevania Symphony of the Night, because Castlevania Symphony of the Night is definitely the way to go if you want Castlevania, Castlevania on your PlayStation. Not Castlevania Chronicles, it's basically just a remake of the first game. I didn't care for the NES Castlevania games or the ones on the Super Nintendo and stuff, but just with Symphony of the Night, it's one of my top 3 favorite Castlevania games and stuff. Like, it's definitely ranked up there. I'm not gonna say what number it is, if it's number 2 or number 3 or so, but it's definitely ranked up there very high as Castlevania, as like one of my favorite Castlevania games. I promise I'll review something. I know some people are probably gonna want me to review this game in the future, and I will say this: I will review it in the future. I just gotta get farther in the game, because like it's just I'm bad at Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but I'm gonna try and get better so I can review the game for the people who want me to review the game, and I definitely will do that for you all, because you fans are important to me, and if you want to see me review this game, I'll definitely try and review it in the future. I promise. Number 6, Koudelka. Here we have a horror-themed JRPG where you play that takes place in like the medieval era of London and stuff like that. Where I don't really want to go into the detail much of that, because this game is very story-driven with a lot of voice acting and stuff. And if I were to explain a lot of the details and stuff, I'd probably spoil the game for y'all. But basically, it's kind of like a combination of Parasite Eve and Final Fantasy and stuff like that, because like it's just like everything is dark and creepy looking stuff, and the characters can remind you of some Final Fantasy characters too and stuff. And like Koudelka, I mean, I will admit Koudelka is kind of bitchy and stuff, but that makes her who she is, because she's a witch and stuff like that, of course. And that's another thing too. You play as a medieval witch too, and that's pretty awesome too. Because when's the last time you played a game? You played a game where you played a witch and stuff like that. And like most JRPGs on the PlayStation, it is long on 4 discs and stuff, and it's definitely worth it. I mean, like, I'll admit the battle system took time for me to get used to, but once you get used to the battle system, it's definitely worth it, and that's why Koudelka is number 6 on this list. Number 7, Silent Hill. Now, when it comes to survival horror games on the PlayStation, everyone knows of Silent Hill, definitely. A lot of people know it's one of the most popular survival horror games on the PlayStation and stuff. And Silent Hill was basically released in like 1999-2000, where basically it was basically Konami's take on Resident Evil stuff. Instead of like zombies or stuff or something like that and stuff like that and such. Here you have like ancient gods and demons and stuff like that, and like resurrecting from the dead and stuff like that, and just it just basically talks about cults and stuff like too. It's like it's basically cult groups and stuff too, and those definitely work there and such. It basically mainly talks about cults and stuff too. So you basically got to play the game to understand the whole story like that, because like it's very story driven here too. And if I were to explain the story, we'd be here all day, and we don't have a lot of time here. Number 8, we're getting very close to the top game on the list here. We have Dino Crisis by Capcom, which is basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs and stuff, and it was also made by Shinji Mikami, who was behind the Resident Evil games and stuff. Now, Dino Crisis holds a special place in my heart because it was the first game that got me into survival horror and stuff, because I never played anything like it before. And of course, like we have a very likable protagonist named Regina, who's basically all tough as nails and stuff like that, and doesn't let shit get her down and stuff. And you basically lead the game pretty much takes place on Ibis Island, where you're in this military experiment facility trying to capture Dr. Kirk, who pretty much faked his death and stuff like that, because he's government property and stuff, and you're trying to capture him. There's more to the story, but I don't want to spoil it all and stuff, and you're basically going into this facility, trying to survive the dinosaurs, trying to solve puzzles, to try and get to certain doors, trying to access elevators and get key cards and access like computers like that, to try and get everything you need, get what you need to do, and just boogie and stuff. It's basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs, like I said, and it actually works really well. I like Dino Crisis better than Dino Crisis 2, because that was like too actioner-like stuff like that, and I didn't like the character Dylan, because you play as him more than Regina. Regina should have been played as more and stuff, but it's still, Dino Crisis 2 is still good, but I like Dino Crisis 1 better, and you can find Dino Crisis, definitely pick it up if you want to play a game with dinosaurs and stuff. Number 9, Parasite Eve 2. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, what about Parasite Eve 1? Where's Parasite Eve 1? Well, I'll admit right now, I love both Parasite Eve games, but I like Parasite Eve 2 more because it feels more like Resident Evil and stuff. And I kind of like how it is with the camera and stuff like that, because I don't mind the tank controls or the camera angles and stuff like that when it comes to those type of games. And that's one reason why I like Dino Crisis a lot too, because the tank controls work perfectly for me. But like Parasite Eve 2 is basically like it's take on Resident Evil and stuff, and it basically shows it too. For the most part of the game, you're spending time in the Mojave Desert and stuff like that, while you're trying to fight the mitochondria, find your sister Eve and stuff like that, and you're joined by Kyle Madigan, who pretty much turns as Aya's love interest and stuff. But oops, spoiled it for there. Sorry, people. But like Parasite Eve 2, yeah, it definitely takes a spot. A lot of people don't really like this game because it doesn't have a lot of RPG elements to it, and it's shorter and stuff, but Parasite Eve 2 is still great. I like the Mojave Desert setting. It's basically survival horror in the desert. And you think the desert could be all peaceful and stuff. Boy, you're wrong there, because we'll say like 80% of the game takes place in the Mojave Desert, and it works really well. And I like this game. A lot of people don't like it, but I do. And it is basically Squaresoft at the time, Squaresoft's take on Resident Evil. They did it with Parasite Eve 1 with like RPG style, but this definitely feels like their version of Resident Evil, and they pulled it off really well. Now we're down to number 10, and before I get started here, before I even say this here, do not screw this up. Do it right this time, because you've already messed up many times before. Now, before I get to number 10, may I have a drum roll, please? And one done right this time. Are you gonna stop? Stop. Stop. Thank you. Get it right next time. Please, for the love of mercy, get it right next time. Ay. One of these days, I'm gonna get a proper drum roll one of these days, but guess it's not today. But anyway, number 10, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, when it comes to Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is definitely the best Resident Evil game ever made. It basically, in my opinion, is pretty much, in my opinion, the real Resident Evil 2. Now, I love Resident Evil 2 because it introduced Claire Redfield and stuff like that, and such. She was one of my favorite characters in the series. But nothing will top Jill Valentine, because Jill Valentine, that's one reason I like this game more, because it feels like Resident Evil 2, because you play as the main female protagonist from the first game, and it shows what happened to her, what she was doing after the mansion incident and stuff. It's just, She stayed behind in Raccoon City while the others, while like Chris and them fled to Europe and stuff like that and left Raccoon City. She stayed behind for personal reasons and stuff, and basically shows what you can do here. I mean, what I like about Resident Evil 3 now is that it has smooth controls. The 180-degree turn was introduced here in this, and you have a choice selection here, and you have a new villain called Nemesis and stuff. And this basically like has a lot of great places you can explore. Like you can explore like the Uptown, the police station, the downtown area, the clock tower, which is probably my favorite area to explore in the game, is the clock tower and stuff, because it was the tourist attraction of Raccoon City and stuff. And this game actually wraps up the Raccoon City trilogy, which I'm not going to say in case people haven't played the game yet, but Resident Evil 3 Nemesis also introduces the reloading tool. You can create your own ammo and create as much ammo as you want, and you got 10 slots for your character and stuff, like up to 10 slots you can get. And of course, you can find all the files in order. You can get Jill's diary and explains what she's still doing in Raccoon City, and there's a lot of places to explore, and like the load times are fast. I mean, I will admit, like, one of my favorite things is that a lot of stuff does blow up in the game, which I'm not going to explain. A lot of things blow up in this game, which makes it intense and stuff. I mean, this game started off as a spin-off, but then they turned it into a Resident Evil game and such. And a lot of people don't really like the game because it's shorter, and you only play as one character for the most part instead of two, like I did in Resident Evil 2 and stuff, and original Resident Evil and stuff. But still, it works perfectly for me, and I wish people would stop making a big deal about this game, because this game is awesome. Okay, I mean, it's the best Resident Evil game ever made. I mean, it took everything that was great about the first two games, put it here, and made them even better. And yet, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love the game. It's a game so that just like as a kid, I had a hard time beating it, but as I got older, I started to beat it, and I was very satisfied. You got two endings here, and so that depending on your choice selection, you have choices you can choose from, like fight with the monster or enter the police station or so, or etc. And each choice affects the gameplay for you too. Like it has different cutscenes though, and if you go to different locations at different times, it also affects how the story will play out for you and such. And it's basically kind of like you choose your own path and stuff. That you choose your own story, so kind of like that, but not as open like how it was with like other games start that, but still. It definitely belongs on this list, and that's why Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is the best Resident Evil game ever made, and that's why it's my top PlayStation horror theme game. Well, that's it for this video here. There'll be more reviews coming and more top 10 lists on the way, so be on the lookout for that. And I'm also going to be continuing my Let's Play of Dino Crisis, so be on the lookout for that as well. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I wish you all a happy Halloween, and those of you who are new here, feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and don't forget to join my Discord group, TTBurger Gaming United, because we're always looking for more members to join. That's pretty much all I gotta say. This is Tony. Peace out, and have a great day. And I wish you all a happy Halloween. Have fun and be safe.